he answered a few questions about culture of a company, about management, and he said multiple times how important the culture of a company is, how important the management is. He mentioned that Costco's culture is really what propelled it to be the incredible company that it is today.
Yes.
And he said that Jeff Bezos is, in his opinion, either the or one of the greatest businessmen that has ever been around.
Yep.
So he, I notice when people talk about that stuff because that's what I look for in companies. So that was really interesting to me to hear somebody who's so, not, he's not somebody who's out there like chatting about ESG and mission and purpose-led companies and all that kind of stuff. So when he talks about company culture, what he means is a company, as he said straight in the beginning, a company that sells things to people that are good products that make their lives better. And that's it.
Well, a couple of points here that I picked up. One is that Charlie was very clear that the stock market in the United States is in a major bubble.
Yeah.
And that nobody knows how long it's going to last. And that's the two things. It's like, yes, it's a bubble. It's looking for a pen, and nobody knows where that pen is.
Yeah.
Number one. And the second thing that came out of Buffett's letter, which we haven't talked much here, but it's really worth checking out, is how reticent Buffett was to say anything really about who's going to follow him if he dies.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Why he's not paying dividends. I mean, that people at Barron's were like, you should be paying dividends and drive the stock price and all this. And honestly, there was a pretty good get together with Guy Spear following that meeting, and one of the things that came out of it was over on Clubhouse was that Warren is talking his book. I mean, Warren wants some good companies to buy, and they're not buyable at this market, number one. So why pump up the market? Why would you, if you want to buy hamburger, why would you pump up the price of hamburger? You wouldn't. And the second thing is, in lieu of buying other good companies, he'll buy his own. And he bought a nice chunk of it last year.
He did.
And why would you pump up the company? Why would you pay dividends and get people pumping up the stock price if what you want to do is buy the stock if it's going to drop? In other words, Buffett never plays down Berkshire, but he doesn't play it up either. And he wasn't playing it up in this letter in the least. And
that's interesting. I felt the opposite.
Really? You thought he was pumping Berkshire?
Yeah, I thought
the
letter. Oh, not the stock price. No. I mean, he never does that. At least that maybe a long time ago. I don't know. No, my impression was that it was a lot of kind of, and maybe this is to your point that it was more about just talking up the company. I don't know. But to me, what struck me is it felt like it was a letter about legacy, because he talked a lot about the companies that Berkshire has not only just owned, but the way Berkshire has really shaped the major companies that they own. Sometimes he talks about the smaller companies in his letter, and this time he didn't do that. He talked about the big companies. He talked about the railroads. He talked about the insurance, very briefly the insurance actually, because he's had other letters where he really got into it. And he really talked about Berkshire Hathaway Energy and the huge investment that company has put into greener energy. Literal investment, billions. And I just thought, to me, it struck me as... Go ahead.
I caught the theme was the middle part of America is massively contributing to the wealth of America. It's not all about the coasts. And he just pointed one company after another that has produced enormous wealth for people, and they're built by wonderful people, and they're built by Nebraskans, and they're built by... Yeah. Right? Wasn't that
totally
so deep on it? I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Barron's comes out after that letter and he goes, everything was missing from this that was important. What's succession and underperformance? Why didn't you talk about the underperformance of your shares? This is where I was thinking. It's like, why would he? If he wants to buy his stock back, And also it occurred to me that Barron's is talking about the last 5 and 10 years, how his stock has done against the S&P 500, and it's lagged it. And guess what? Buffett forever, going back 60 years, has been saying that when the stock market's on fire, we are going to lag performance. Berkshire will not be able to compete with a bull market stock market. And the reason for that is because what we try to do when we're buying companies is we try to buy companies that are on sale. And if the stock market is running at a 2% earnings yield, I mean, it ain't on sale. Very hard to buy stuff and very hard to do anything but underperform. And it's been like that for a decade now. So why would he? I don't know. I
don't know. I just can't think of a time where he's talked up the price of, I guess occasionally he's said, oh, it's at a good book value. I don't know.
I think he just kind of stayed away from it this time.
Yeah.
Barron's was saying like this was just too much of a trip down memory lane. And I thought he was basically pointing out why we do what we do.
Yeah, I took it that way exactly. Why we do what we do, that we've done good things with our companies, that we continue to do good things with our companies, that we employ people, that we've done the right thing. Yep. He pointed out that the new CEO of, is it BHE or is it the railroad? I can't remember, is a woman, Katie Farmer. I mean, I really felt like it was a legacy kind of letter. Look at what I've done. And he would never say it like that or think of it like that even. I don't think it's about him, but it is about him for all of us who follow him.
And, and Katie she is Burlington Northern, but Northern. Beyond that, look at how I think this is why I think he was playing it down. He made a thing out of writing down $10 billion on Precision Castparts, which is this purchase that he made. And then he goes into really quite a lot of mea culpa about having paid too much. It's nobody's fault but mine, but I paid too much for it, in terms of blah, blah, blah. And really the company just got crushed because why? They're making parts for airplanes and nobody's flying. So it'll come back. What he didn't say was we made $1 bazillion on Apple.
Oh, he did say that.
Well, he didn't really. I mean, he didn't really come out and just go, hey,
he said we bought some, what was it, like 5.2% of the company, and then Apple bought some of their shares back, and then we bought some of their shares back, and boom, you guys made an extra $1 billion without doing anything.
Yeah, in the context of the buybacks, yes, but not in the context of we bought it at 100 and it went to 500. Right. He didn't say that. He didn't say that this is by far our largest investment and massively overshadows the losses that we took on Precision Castparts.
Yeah.
Most everybody, including me, would do exactly that. And he doesn't. And the reason, honest to God, the reason he doesn't is because he wants this stuff to go down. I really believe it. He's not pumping his book at all.
But that's also the way he writes every letter ever.
Yeah.
This is not, true. But so when you say like, there's a reason that he's not pumping things, he doesn't pump things. So I'm a bit confused
and there's a reason
by this
he doesn't
idea.
Pump things. I mean, there's a reason, and he said it so many times. It's like if you're a net purchaser of hamburgers, you don't want to pump them up. And he is a net purchaser of businesses. The last thing Buffett wants to do is see a market like this, like a massive, huge bubble. And he doesn't want to see that in his own stock either. For more reasons than just, I want to buy my own stock. It's also that he just feels it's not fair. Like when people are buying the stock at too high a price, he feels that that's unwarranted and they shouldn't do it. And he's come out times in the past and said it's just too expensive, And then, of course, it turns out you should have bought the hell out of it right there. But that's Buffett and that's Munger, and that's why we love them so much, is that they're so different than everybody else in the world when it comes to this stuff. And they're shrugging off underperformance. It's like, hey, 10 years, so what? Maybe, you should have bought the SPX. If you knew where we were going to go, you should have bought the SPX. On the other hand, there's massive untapped value in Berkshire Hathaway. No question in my mind.
Yes.
So, by the way, you should look at it. I mean, I'm not recommending anything or advice or whatever, but this is a business you should look into. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.